I had proved that Indus Script was developed by Murugan in my previous video through Israel and New Zealand connection to it. In this video, I am establishing the same through the connection of Indus Script to another culture called Berber culture. There is a race of people called Berber who are living in the northwestern African region. They are called Berber as they are living in a dry land originally called Varavara land in Tamil. Dried objects make Varavara sound while handling them and hence this name. This Tamil word Varavara deformed to Berber. Varavara, Barabara, Berber. Desert people, due to paucity of resources, were attacking each other as groups, shedding blood often. As they lived in the dry Barabara desert region, their bloodletting internecine battles were termed as barbaric after the place they lived in, called as Barabara. As a sidetrack, that's the reason Muhammad formulated Islam to turn the war-torn Arabia into a land of peaceful coexistence by sharing wealth from the haves to the have-nots. Returning back, the barber was also named so as he too was shedding blood while treating his patients with a knife. The traditional barbers, apart from hairdressing, were generally engaged in medical practices also. Thus, having discussed the Tamil origin of the names like barbaric, barber, and Berber, we shall move on to the next point. Our sequential method of approach is as follows. We would show that the script of the language of the Berber people, known as Tifinagh, is similar to Indus Script. We would show that the words of their language, known as Tamazigh, has close similarity to Tamil. We would explain how the script was called Tifinagh and the language was called Tamazigh. When we do that, we shall identify that Tamazigh name originated from Murugan. We shall then substantiate this fact by establishing that Murugan was indeed the god of Berber people along with Shiva. Most of the scripts of various languages emerged out of Indus Script. The Brahmi script, the Scythian script, the Phoenician, the Berber script called Tifinagh, the Chinese script, the Greek script, just naming a few. It shall be inferred from the physical similarity of the Scythian script to the Indus script and the Scythian script to Tifinagh. I am only comparing the physical similarity of the characters of the respective scripts and not along with their phonetic values, as it would be beyond my expertise. Tifinagh has close similarity with both Indus script and Brahmi script, both being the scripts of Tamil language. I am only showing a few instances of similarity to save time, and you shall yourself compare them by pausing the video. Thus, we are establishing that Tifinagh was a modified form of Indus script. Considering the fact that Berber language is deformed version of ancient Tamil, the modern Tifinagh characters need not necessarily sound the same as Indus script. However, Tifinagh characters were nonetheless modeled out of Indus characters themselves, as is proven by this comparison. Not only their script, but also the words of Berber language, called as Tamazigh, has connection to Tamil. In fact, Dr. V.R. Annadurai Varayankaval has published an amazing article identifying Tamil words in Berber language in Academia, and the link is given in the description box. I would read out a few samples. Al, to cry, Aru. Owl, to expect, Aval. Hudu, to give, Kodu. Ut, to hit, Uday. I have shown only a few samples of the big list that Dr. Annadurai has published. Thus, the script of Berber language called Tifinagh has similarity with the Indus script, and we have established that Indus script was developed by Murugan, the Tamil god, through the previous videos. We have also shown that Berber words are related to Tamil words through the work of Dr. Annadurai. Thus, Berber language called as Tifinagh is actually a deformed version of ancient Tamil. We would now suggest how the name of the Berber script called as Tifinagh and the name of Berber language called as Tamazigh originated. The word Tifinagh is thought to be a Berberized feminine cognate of Punic through the Berber feminine prefix T and Latin Punicus, thus pointing it to be of Phoenician origin. But the Phoenician itself is a derivative of Indus Script. Thus, if we consider the fact that Phoenician is derived from Indus, we shall then think of Tifinagh as an independent derivative of Indus Script. We shall then try to understand the meaning of Tifinagh through this possibility. I had already proved through my previous videos that Indus Script originated from ancient Lanka and it was a script of Tamil language. The ancient Berber people, knowing the true origin of their language, would have called both their language and its script as Tifinagh. Here, Tivu means island, Na or Naku means tongue, which actually means language here. Tivu plus Na, Tivuna, Tifuna, Tifuna, Tifinagh. This is the proper etymology of the word Tifinagh as compared to its assumed origin through Phoenician language. We shall now take upon the word Tamazigh. The Central Atlas Tamazigh speakers refer to themselves as Amazigh, an ethnonym whose etymology is uncertain but said to translate as free people. The term Tamazigh, which is said to be the feminine form of Amazigh, refers to their language. This is what is being said about their language. This again is not a proper etymology. In fact, they are not able to provide proper etymological roots for the word Amazigh, the meaning of which they claim as free people. Tamil being the first language of humans, it was not named in ancient times, and that's understandable. When people migrated, specifically out of Lanka, they called their language after the island they migrated from, and that's how it was called Tifinagh, including its script. As they migrated out of Lanka after the initiation of Second Tamil Sangam 10,000 years ago, they knew that Murugan contributed to this language and its then new script. A section of these people who originally landed in Sumeria, later to be called as Berber people, migrated to their present whereabouts in the northwestern Africa. According to me, Sumerians were the refugees from ancient Lanka following the Ramayana war about 7,000 years ago. The prominent god of Sumerians was Tammuz about 4,500 years ago, but it was a later variant of the original name called Dumu Sid. Dumu Sid, Dumuz, Tammuz. But Dumu Sid is a jumbled word and it should have sounded originally as Mudu Sid. I had already proved that Yasiddhi means southern Siddha, where Siddhi means Siddha, and Yasiddhis are the worshippers of Murugan to this day, and they live in Kurdistan, which is part of Mesopotamia. Thus, the meaning of the word Mudu Sid is ancient Siddha, which might either point to Shiva, the initiator of the first Tamil Sangam, or Murugan, the initiator of the second Tamil Sangam. However, Tammuz was identified as Murugan, as later Babylonian legends called Tammuz as the son of Nimrod, who was Shiva. Moreover, the fact that Tammuz was worshipped as the herder of cattle, god of agriculture, god of seasons, and the god of fertility, it points to the fact that he should be Murugan. In fact, there were erotic poems on Tammuz revealed by cuneiform texts, which proves that Tammuz was the god of sex and fertility. Murugan was the cattle herder and he invented agriculture and he created the rudimentary form of the tropical calendar and hence associated with the seasons, and he was also the god of fertility. Hence, Tammuz is nothing but Murugan. The ancient Berber people who called their language and its script as Tifinagh were aware that the so-called Indus script was actually created by Murugan and he fostered Tamil language. Hence, at a later date, they chose to call their language after Tammuz, one of the Middle East names of Murugan. Thus, this language, Tifinagh, got another name, Tamazigh, after Tammuz, the Murugan. The original name of the language and its script, called Tifinagh, continued to be just the name of the script only thereafter. That's how these names originated. My derivation of names Tifinagh and Tamazigh are very appropriate both etymologically and historically. In fact, the Berber flag proves these people's intimate connection to both Shiva and Muruga, who developed Tamil language. They use an alphabet called Yas, designed out of the double trident of Shiva and Muruga in their flag as seen in these pictures. I have to prove with further concrete evidence that Berber language was indeed named after Murugan as Tamazigh. This shall be proven by the fact that Berber people were worshipping Murugan until Islam was thrust upon them. The ancient Berber people knew that both Shiva and Muruga contributed to Tamil language. In fact, being ancient Siddhas, both Murugan and Shiva were known to all the civilizations of the world. Thus, the Berber people's Shiva oasis was actually named after Shiva. The Moroccan city Marrakesh was named after Murugesh, that is Muruga Isa, where Isa means Shiva. As for the origin of the name Morocco, it's a deformed version of the name Murugan. Murugan, Morgan, Moroccan, Morocco. The central deity of the ancient Berber people was called Amun. It is claimed that this Amun was a female deity initially and became a male deity later. I have been saying that it was Murugan who created 7 female deities called as Elu Nayaki, which he later deformed as Anunnaki in Sumeria. Not only that, the Middle East people were worshipping the 3 prominent of the 7 Nayaki that Murugan created. They are called 1. Al-Uzza, which is nothing but Kali, called also as Urai in Tamil. She is wearing black hijab to prove that she is Kali. 2. Al-Lat, which is nothing but Lakshmi, also called as Lata in Tamil, as a deformed form of Illattal, meaning household deity. Illattal, Latal, Lata, Allat. She is wearing a red dress to prove that she is Lakshmi. 3. Al-Manas, which is nothing but the goddess of intellect called as Saraswati. Here, the Tamil word Manam, which means mind today, also meant intellect in ancient times. Thus, Al-Manas is wearing white hijab to prove that she is Saraswati. These were the prominent 3 of the 7 Nayakis that Murugan created, and they are all called Amman in Tamil Nadu even today. Thus, ancient Berber people should have been worshipping these female deities as Amman along with Murugan, the creator of these Amman. However, they later worshipped Murugan himself as Amman. I have to prove that this Amman actually means Murugan now. Murugan was the god of war. Hence, cock, peacock, male goat or ram were associated with him to transmit the fact to the posterity that he was a war god, because these animals are fighter animals, as we all know. Hence, these animals were metaphorized as his carriers. In fact, Murugan is associated with 4 animals, and the 4th is elephant. Elephant and goat are sculpted at the base of the platform holding Murugan's statue at Tiruparankundram. The 4th animal, elephant, is associated with him to transmit to the posterity that Murugan formalized a way of life called Asivagam, which is the mother of all religions of the world, good or bad. As an additional info, Murugan's another metaphoric wife, called as Deivani, is actually Saraswati, to doubly transmit the fact to the posterity that Murugan formalized a way of life called Asivagam. Thus, Murugan is associated with Ram, and in fact, Ram was worshipped as Murugan, just like Yazidis worship peacock as Murugan. The wiki article on Berber religion shown here equates Ram with Amman. Even the Egyptian god Amun is also Murugan, as the Egyptian Amun is also worshipped as Ram, as shown here. The unmistakable fact that Amun is Murugan shall be correctly proved through this Egyptian depiction of Amun, shown with the erect phallus, thus representing Kandan, the fertility aspect of Murugan. To doubly prove this, look at the Egyptian deity called as Amun-Ra. Amun is Murugan and the Ra is actually Shiva. Shiva is worshipped by Tamils in several forms. 1. God of creation. 2. God of destruction. 3. God of time. 4. God of the cosmos and the Big Bang. 5. Ancient guru who preached Veda. 6. The ancient king called as Adinathan. 7. Adiyogi. 8. The god of the departed souls. The departed souls are worshipped as blacks by Tamils as they merged back into the dark astral space after their death. As Saturn is a dull planet, this aspect of Shiva is called as Saniswaran after this blackish planet called as Sani in Tamil. His carrier is crow. As the departed souls are said to live in the dark sky, the sky-born blackbird, crow, is chosen as the carrier of Saniswaran, Shiva, who represents the departed souls. It is very interesting that Tamils remember the departed souls every month on the dark day called No Moon Day. That day is called Amavasai, whose etymology is Al plus Ma plus Vasam, meaning the great black life. In fact, after the Amavasa Puja, we feed the crows symbolically as though feeding the departed souls. These black crows are seen as the representatives of the departed souls who are called as Karuppu, meaning black. Tamil culture is indeed a great culture that we continue to remember our departed parents by offering worship every month on the dark day called Amavasai, that is No Moon Day. After the necessary diversion, let us return to our discussion. Thus, the carrier of Saniswaran is crow. As Saniswaran is representing darkness, he was called in Egypt as Ra, which means darkness. But the Egyptians of today might not know that Ra means darkness. Shiva was indeed worshipped as Ra in Egypt, and obviously he was depicted as shown here after crow or falcon. Thus, Shiva was represented by crow and Murugan was represented by ram. Thus, Amun-Ra is actually a Muruga-Shiva combination. In Tamil culture, both Shiva and Muruga are worshipped as phallus, the gods of fertility. Obelisks represent phallus and they were installed in pairs representing both Murugan and Shiva in front of Amun-Ra temples of Egypt. Thus, Amman means Murugan, and that was the ancient god of the Berber people. There is an oracle of Amman temple in Berber land at Siva Oasis, which was a very powerful temple in those times in the entire region. This temple was built around 500 BC, even though the worship of Amman existed from ancient times. Alexander the Great visited this temple, and there is a belief that the oracle of Amman declared that he was a son of Amman. In fact, Alexander's original name was coined out of Kandan, one of the names of Murugan, who is Amman. Al-Kandan, Al-Kandar, Alexander. This is established by the picture of Alexander, who is depicted with two horns. These horns are the horns of ram, which represent Murugan, and Alexander was named after Murugan. Murugan was a war god, and Alexander was a war hero. When I speak of the horns of Alexander, I have to explain the horns of Moses, as that is of a different origin. The horns of Moses are the horns of Baphomet, the goat, representing the fact Moses created the first ever secret society of the world. Mason means the herder of goats, and hence this name was used as a title by the people who controlled the population through their secret agenda. After all, Jews called the Gentiles as Goyim, meaning cattle. Thus, Moses created the first secret society called Mason, which is called as Freemasons today. Thus, we should not confuse between the two personalities, Alexander and Moses, both of them being depicted with horns. In fact, people have already suggested that the Pope's headgear was designed out of either the Amun god of Egypt or the Dagon of Philistines. Either way, it is a contribution by Murugan, as Dagon also represents Murugan. The cross of Christianity originally represented fertility, and it originated from Tammuz, the Murugan. Tammuz is possessing the sprouting foliage of the seed to symbolize fertility. The pine cone ornamenting the staff of Pope is found with the god Marduk, who is again Murugan. The star symbol is again a contribution by Murugan. There are a lot more stamps of Murugan in Christianity, which I would discuss in my next outstanding English video. Murugan is inseparably woven into Christianity without being aware of this by the concerned people. Hence, we shall summarize as follows. The Berber people's ethnonym originated out of Tamil word called Varavara, representing the desert region. The name of the nation Morocco and its important city Marrakesh originated out of the name of Murugan. Ancient Berber people's god Amun of the temple of oracle is nothing but Murugan. In fact, the word oracle originated from Tamil word Uraigal, which means declarational sayings. Uraigal, Varaigal, oracle. In fact, the English words oral, orator, etc. originated from Urai of Tamil. The Berbers called their language as Tamazigh after Murugan, who contributed greatly to the development of ancient Tamil. They called their script as Tifinagh as it originated from the island called Lanka, knowing well that it was created by Murugan. Here, the important point is that Berber script is related to Indus Script, which they call as Tifinagh after the island Lanka where it originated, and they call their language as Tamazigh after Tamuz, the Murugan, who developed this language. Thus, it proves that Indus Script was created by Murugan in the island called Lanka soon after the deluge. We shall infer a great truth from this discourse. Tamil language was named by the people of Middle East through the god Tammuz several thousand years ago itself. This name for Tamil existed during the later part of the Second Tamil Sangam itself. Hence, Tamil was named by Sumerians after Tammuz the Murugan.